welcome to yoga. We're going to get started seated today. So any comfortable seat, cross-legged if that works for you. Rest your hands in your lap, close your eyes, relax your shoulders back and down, and take a few breaths, breathing in and out through your nose if you can. Now bring your hands together at your heart. And on your next inhale, open your arms out to the side and then bring them up toward the ceiling. Bring your hands together, and on your exhale, bring your hands back down to your heart. So continuing with your breath. On your inhale, sweeping your arms out and up. On your exhales, bringing your hands back to your heart. Maybe keeping your eyes closed, or you can gently allow them to open if you prefer. Finish one more round, stopping next time your hands are together at your heart. And then we're going to twist side to side a couple times from here. So on your exhale, twist toward the right, look toward the right, maybe a little bit behind you, and then on your inhale, come to center. Exhale, twist toward the left, looking out over your left shoulder, and inhale back to center. So continue twisting side to side, twisting on your exhales, coming back to center on your inhales, trying to keep your hands right in between your shoulders, not letting your hands move side to side to make yourself pretend that you're twisting further. Finish one more on each side, ending with the left since we started with the right. And then head forward to hands and knees, bringing your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And let's do some cat-cows from here. So inhale to cow, lower your belly and lift your chin. Then exhale to cat, tuck your chin around your spine, tucking your tailbone. And then continuing back and forth on your own. After your next cat pose, head back towards child's, maybe widening your knees first, then send your hips toward your heels. Try walking your hands forward a little bit more. Maybe come up onto your fingertips, hovering your palms above your mat. And then press your palms down. Shift forward, come to a modified plank, straight line from shoulders to knees. Keep that straight line as you lower down to the ground. Then press the tops of your feet down, lift your head and shoulders up to a cobra. Lower back down. Press into your hands to press up to modified plank. And then head to downward dog, tucking your toes under, lift your knees, lift your hips. Take a few moments here to move around, pedal out your heels, bend one knee at a time. Bring that movement to a stop. Widen your feet so they're at least hips distance apart. And then walk your hands towards your feet. Find a forward fold near the back of your mat. From here, press down into your feet and then slowly begin to roll all the way up to standing. Lift your shoulders, lift your gaze toward the ceiling, lift your hands toward the ceiling. And then we'll roll all the way back down. So bringing your hands back to your sides, tuck your chin around your shoulders forward. Maybe a slight bend in your knees as you roll down to the floor. Let your hands reach the ground, crawl your hands forward, come out to a plank. Full plank or modified plank again. And then lower all the way down to the ground. Lift up to cobra. Lower back down. Push back up to plank or maybe modified plank and find downward dog. Take a breath or two in downward dog. And then walk your feet toward your hands. Forward fold, front of your mat. On your next inhale, lift partway, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale to stand, reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, eventually coming down to a forward fold. On your next inhale, lift partway, lengthen your spine. Exhale down, stepping back to a plank, and we'll vinyasa to downward dog. This time, try lowering down halfway into chaturanga. From there, straightening your arms to come up to up dog, and lifting your hips straight up and back to downward dog. From here, lift your left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. And then bring your left foot forward, place it in between your hands. And then come up to crescent pose. Keeping your back heel lifted, hips squared toward the front of your mat. Lifting your arms up toward the ceiling. And then we're going to keep our legs still here, move our arms a few times. On your exhales, sweep your arms forward and down, maybe all the way back towards your back foot. On your inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. Okay, so exhaling forward and down, inhaling forward and up. Feel free to breathe or move faster or slower if you need to. Just making sure that you're breathing the whole time, moving the whole time. Next time your arms overhead, go ahead and hold them there. Maybe look up towards your hands. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears if they have been reaching up. Take one more breath here. And then release your hands down, round your front foot, step back to a plank, and take a vinyasa to downward dog. Exhaling toward the floor, inhaling to a back bend, and exhaling to work your way to downward dog. When you're ready, we'll do the other side. Lift your right leg up behind you, and then bring it forward in between your hands. And come on up to crescent pose. Again, starting with moving with your breath if you can. Exhale, arms forward, down, maybe back. Inhale, arms forward and up. Next time you lift your arms overhead, hold there, continue to breathe. One more inhale here. On your exhale, release your hands to the floor. Step back to plank. Take another vinyasa if you'd like, on your way to downward dog. Taking a couple more breaths in downward dog, or maybe coming down to child's pose, maybe taking another vinyasa if you have a lot of energy. Eventually coming back to downward dog. From there, step or maybe hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. On your next inhale, lift part way, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale to stand, raise your arms overhead. And exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift part way. Exhale to step or hop back to plank. From there, maybe taking a vinyasa, maybe heading straight back to the downward dog. From downward dog, lift your left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Then bring your left knee toward your left elbow, shifting forward so that your shoulders come over your wrists. And then re-extend your leg behind you, three-legged dog. Bring your left knee forward toward your right elbow. So a little bit of a twist this time, pausing for a moment there. And then stretch it back, three-legged dog. One more time, bring your knee forward and bring it this time towards your nose. Maybe bring your nose towards your knee. Pause for a moment here. And then place your foot in between your hands. And come up to warrior two. Bending your right heel to the floor, opening your arms parallel to the ground. And we'll do a little bit of movement here. On your inhales, lift your arms, straighten your front leg. On your exhales, come back down to warrior two. And next time you're in warrior two, hold there. Reach your fingers away from each other, reach your wrists away from each other, and look out over your left hand. Then reverse your warrior, lifting your left hand up, maybe looking up towards your lifted hand. And then come to triangle, straighten your front leg, reach your left arm forward, let it come down wherever it lands on your leg. Maybe it goes all the way to the floor. Try lifting your right hand up toward the ceiling, lifting your gaze toward the ceiling. And then head to side angle, maybe right from here. Bend your front leg. You can bring your elbow to your knee. Or you can bring your left hand down to the floor. Maybe turning your gaze back up toward your hand, up toward the ceiling. Maybe instead you reach your hand toward the front of the room and look in that direction. Or look down toward the floor. And lift back up to warrior two. Take a breath here. On your exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Inhale to step back to plank. Exhale to start a vinyasa. Maybe skip the vinyasa and head straight back to downward dog. Maybe come down to child's pose. Couple more breaths wherever you are. Feel free to take an extra vinyasa. If you haven't yet, feel free to come down to child's pose. When you're ready for the other side, head to downward dog. From there, lift your right leg up behind you, three-legged dog. And then bring your right knee towards your right wrist, or right elbow. So try to lift your knee high. Pause for a moment, and then switch it back to three-legged dog. Then bring your right knee towards your left elbow. Pausing for a moment there, leg as high as you can get it. And then stretch it back, three-legged dog. Last one, bring your knee towards your nose, nose towards your knee. Pause for a moment here. And then place your foot in between your hands. And come up to warrior two. Again, starting with movement here. Inhale, lift your arms, straighten your front leg. Exhale, back to warrior two. One more. Then meeting in warrior two. Taking a few breaths here. Reverse your warrior. Lift your right hand, lift your gaze. Come to triangle, straighten your front leg, reach your right arm forward and down, and then lift your left hand, try lifting your gaze. Then switch to side angle, bending your front knee, maybe elbow to knee, or right hand on the ground. Left arm can stay straight up or reach forward. Gaze wherever is most comfortable for you. Lift back up to warrior two. On your next exhale, head down to the floor, hands to the ground. Step back to plank. Take a vinyasa if you'd like. Then heading to child's pose or downward dog. Meeting up in downward dog. From there, step or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. On your inhale, lift part way. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale to stand, reach your arms overhead. And then exhale, arms by your sides. We're going to work on some balance next with warrior two, we'll move around a bit before we hold. So let's stand on the left leg first. So step your left foot forward of your right. Start with your hands on your hips. So hands are here to remind your hips to stay squared toward the front of your mat or toward the floor. So switch your weight into your left leg. Lift your right leg behind you. Your right toes pointing toward the ground. So you're going to imagine a straight line from the top of your head to your right heel and try to keep that as you lean forward and then come back up. So tipping forward, as you tip forward, your back heel lifts and then lifting your torso back up. Back foot comes down, you can tap it on the floor or keep it lifted the whole time. So at your own pace, leaning forward and then lifting back up. You choose how far forward you lean, maybe coming all the way parallel to the floor, like warrior three. We're going to do one more, and this time we'll come down and hold. So coming toward warrior three, leaning forward, back heel is lifted. You can keep your hands on your hips, maybe open them out to the sides, or stretch them forward next to your ears. And then return your hands to your hips and tip back to standing. Letting your right foot come to the floor, moving around your hips a little bit, seeing how you feel. And then when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So right foot forward of your left. Again, remember to keep your hips square toward the floor as much as possible. And then come into your right leg, lift your left foot. Straight line from your left heel to the top of your head, beginning when you're ready to tip forward and then tip back up. Let's do one more and then hold. Coming down as far as you like. Maybe moving your arms. You can choose the same variation as last time, maybe something different. Arms forward, out. Maybe staying on your hips. And return your hands to your hips. Tip back up to standing. Both feet down. Shake things out. See how you feel. And then let's come down to a squat. Toes out, heels slightly in. Bending your knees to come down. Maybe bringing your hands to the floor. Shifting around if it's see how that goes. Maybe bringing your hands together at your heart. Pressing your elbows into your knees. Sitting up as tall as possible here. And bring your hands to the floor and step your feet back. Come to downward dog. Feel free to take a vinyasa on your way if you'd like. Once you're in downward dog, we're going to head to pigeon pose. So lift your left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. And then bend your left knee. Bring your left knee toward your left wrist, placing your leg down on the ground. Maybe stepping your back leg backward. And let's start with a strong pigeon. So you can walk your hands a little closer towards you and sit tall here, as tall as you can. And then imagine drawing your legs closer together, using the muscles in your legs to lift your hips, and then see if you can lift a hand or two off the ground. If that feels good, you can try lifting your hands all the way up toward the ceiling, maybe lifting your gaze toward the ceiling. And then bring your hands down to the ground. Let your legs relax. Sink down toward the floor. Maybe you can scoot your back leg back a little bit further. And then walk your hands forward. And come down as much as feels all right for you on this side. Okay. You can stack your hands to rest your head if your head doesn't reach the floor, or find a pillow or something to put under your head. Begin to lift back up. Press your hands into your mat. Tuck your back toes under, maybe scoot your back foot in a little bit. And then lift your left leg up and back. Step it back to three-legged dog, so keep your foot off the floor if you can. And then open your hips up here. Lift your left hip, lift your left knee. You might be able to look under your right shoulder for your left foot. Scorpion pose. Maybe wiggling out your toes a bit here. Free to stretch out your left leg and rebend it. Open and close your hip. You can move around here as much as you'd like. And then replace your left foot to the floor, and we'll switch sides. So first lifting your right leg straight up, three-legged dog. And then bring your right knee towards your right wrist. Settle your right leg on the floor. Walk your left leg back. Starting strong here, walk your hands closer in towards you. Pull your legs closer together to lift your hips. And then maybe lift your hands. Maybe hover them. Maybe lift them up toward the ceiling. Gaze toward the ceiling, opening your heart. And then return your hands to the ground. Relax your legs. Maybe step your left leg back even more. Walk your hands forward. Lowering down again as much as feels comfortable on this side, which might feel different from the other side. Begin to lift back up, pressing your hands into your mat, tucking your back toes under. Lift your right leg back, three-legged dog. Open your hips, lift your right leg for scorpion pose. Feel free to move around here again. Stretch out your hips, loosen things up. And then place your right foot on the floor. And bring your knees to the ground. Cross your knees behind you. and come to a seat. And if you remember how you normally sit, try to cross your legs the other way. And then sit up tall here, rest your hands in your lap. Close your eyes as we did at the beginning of class. Take a few breaths in and out through your nose. Relax your shoulders down. Thank you for joining me for yoga today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste.